let's talk about Pixar's Elio because this one's intriguing. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. My name is King Richie, and let's get into talking about Elio. Okay, let me start off the video by saying at the end of the day, I'd say Elio's a decent movie. It's by no means a great one. It honestly sits squarely in the middle for me, like right on that Pixar bell curve, somewhere between. I've seen worse, but yeah, they could have done better. And we know they could have done way better. But what really got me thinking was why it flopped so hard at the box office on opening weekend. So let's get into the movie. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's be real. The marketing didn't really help this movie. I barely remembered anything going in from the marketing. I knew it was about a kid in space. It's about it. Like, I feel like I saw the trailer maybe 2 or 3 times at most. I feel like it was under promoted, and I actually forgot that the movie even existed until its release week. That's a problem, and when it did drop, I feel like it also got absolutely outshined by bigger, more recognizable movies that hit the theaters on the same weekend. So already Elio is starting at a disadvantage, but even ignoring the rollout, the film itself is kind of forgettable. And I hate to say that about a Pixar movie, but here we are. Watching the film, I gotta admit, I cared way more about Elio's aunt, Olga, than I did about Elio himself. And maybe that's just Zoe Saldana doing what Zoe Saldana does. Olga's grieving the loss of her own brother, and now she's a surprise foster parent to her nephew. This isn't the life that she imagined, but you can tell that she does genuinely care, she's trying her best. Meanwhile, Elio, our supposed protagonist, comes across as kind of a brat. Like, yeah, okay, he's a little weird kid, socially awkward, space obsessed, and he's processing the grief as well, but still, when he lashes out and tells Olga that she's not his family, kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because at no point in this film are we even given the idea that she doesn't love him. Like, she's obviously doing everything that she can. Hey, sorry to interrupt you. I'm editing this video, but in the interim between me recording this and me editing this video, I actually came across the original trailer for Elio, which I will see if I can find again and leave a link in the description for you to check out yourself. But this trailer alone just shows, it's like a teaser, but it just shows you how much better this film was going to be and how much they changed. Like, it really shows like the dynamic that Elio and his aunt have, and how they, actually like care for each other, and that Elio actually cares, whereas in the movie the same scene that's shown in the teaser they changed Elio so much. Like, the character himself, they changed him so much. And it's genuinely painful how much they changed him. And like I'm saying in the video, it's like he hardly even cares about his aunt. Back to the recording. And I know he's a kid, and even though he's just a kid and he doesn't really know any better, he never actually apologizes. Like, by the end, he sort of just accepts her and Pixar cues that emotional music and says, cry, and I did. But for me, I wasn't really moved by what he said, because the emotional moments that did hit, they were all with Olga. What's wild is that Olga gets all her development in the first act and then basically vanishes once Elio gets abducted. She doesn't even do that much in the beginning, and yet I felt just way more invested in her than I ever was in Elio and Glorden. Glorden, we love Glorden, okay? His storyline with his father, the whole "you're not who I wanted you to be" setup seems pretty classic Pixar, emotional manipulation. And yeah, it got me. It's Pixar. But Elio's journey never really earned its tears. Like Elio himself, not the movie. Elio, something about the way he's portrayed just doesn't land. He's supposed to be this awkward but lovable misfit. But instead, it feels like the movie's forcing me to love him anyway. Without really making us connect. And here's the thing. Elio will probably only resonate with you, again, the character, not the film, if you're like 12, maybe younger. And that's fine. Movies can be made for these younger kids. But this is Pixar, they've built a reputation on crafting these kid-led stories that still hit really emotionally for adults. I mean, look at Coco. That's a young protagonist done right, Elio doesn't reach that same level. It doesn't have the nuance or really the emotional depth in its main character, and it kind of just skims the surface. And another thing that's been bugging me, the animation style. Pixar, they've got their look. I get it. But whatever this new ultra stylized 3D rubbery puffy cheeked aesthetic they're going for that they've been doing after turning Red, it's gotten so exaggerated I can't stand it anymore. It's everywhere now, partially because AI has copied the hell out of it, and I'm burnt out on it. I'm tired of seeing like these AI filters that look like these Pixar characters, and they're turning you into a Pixar character, and hey, here's your Pixar movie. It looks exactly like that. And it doesn't help that the alien designs look fantastic. Like that little rock alien, Glorden species, these look fantastic, and it makes the human designs look even worse by comparison. And you know what the sad part is? People say they want original stories. They complain about the sequels and the remakes. There are so many original films hitting the theaters right now that have hit the theaters, like Phoenician Scheme, F1, Novocaine, etc., etc. They're all out. They're all original films, and I know those aren't exactly made for the same audience as Elio, but also the audience that Elio is raking in that is supposed to be like 12-year-olds, they're not the ones complaining about the original films. And then when an original animated film like Elio actually does drop, no one is showing up for it. And then there's those online too that also assume that these people not showing up for the film are going to be the reason that Disney's going to be like, well, pack it up, boys. It's time for Frozen 5. Subtitle, Olaf's tax return. Like, it's because everyone is going to line up to see Frozen 5 anyways. The real problem is people not giving Elio a chance. And I also believe that people didn't give Elio a chance because of animation style and because of the terrible marketing that they did for this movie, where it felt like there was no promotion for it. And unfortunately, Elio is our example too for this, because it's not that great of a movie. It's a decent film, but a lot of you that are complaining about that don't know that because you haven't watched it. You're just taking other people's opinions, including my own, for that. And then you look at films like Sinners, for example, where it is an original film. It did have some decent promotion, but people went and saw it. People were raving about it online, and then that brought people to watch it. That had people coming really wanting to watch it. Just like F1, you had people go see it, rave about it, come back, talk about it online, hype it up, people go see it. So yes, I understand it's not just people's fault for not going to see it, and that's why the box office for opening weekend was so low. But it's also because it just wasn't that great of a movie, so people online weren't really hyping it up to be fantastic. And with that, people didn't want to waste their money to go see the film. Because, believe it or not, for my cinema people out there, not everyone's got AMC Stubs or Cinemark Movie Club or Regal, is it called Unlimited? Not everyone has these subscriptions. So yeah, Elio has heart and it has a message, but it felt like that message is just wrapped in a story that doesn't quite land, with a main character who doesn't quite stick, and the visuals, the main character. I don't regret watching it. I don't. I enjoyed watching it, but I also wouldn't rush to rewatch it. No, it's kind of the movie that you forget about by the time you're walking to your car, which I did, and I was still talking about F1, which I had seen about 3 days prior to watching Elio. So, let me know. What did you think about Elio? Did it work for you? I don't think I'm being too harsh. I feel like I'm being nicer than a lot of people are online, but, let me know. And I guess just going to wait for that Gordon spinoff that's going to come straight to Disney Plus. So drop your thoughts in the comments. And with all that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in today. And if you did enjoy the video, please leave it a like, because it really does help out the channel so much. And you made it this far, so don't click off. Why don't you subscribe? Because why not? You're already here. Thank you all for being here today, tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.